Hey, welcome to Inglês no Rádio. This is Foster. I am your co-host. I am here with
Alexia Souza.
Alexia. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. What about you?
I was doing great until just a minute ago. We were recording. We were talking for a long time, and I recognized I was not recording my microphone. So
That's
a little bit
fine.
annoyed.
And this is behind the scenes of having a podcast. This happens a lot. So,
Yes, I think Alexia is subtly saying that I forget to turn on my microphone a lot, but
no.
it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
So let's get straight to the point. Alexia, how old are you?
I am 29 years old. What about you?
29.
Hey, you are older than me. So much older. You're like an ancient.
I am an old person. I am also 29 years old. I believe I am more or less 3 weeks older than Alexia, which means I'm 3 weeks smarter as well.
Depend on the point of view, but that's fine.
It depends
It
on the
depends
point
on
of
the
view.
point of view.
I proved my case. Okay, so...
Let's have this conversation in Portuguese.
Você quer falar em português?
Ué, vamos lá.
É um podcast que a gente está aprendendo inglês aqui, então mais tarde, amor. A gente se fala.
Okay, so when are you turning 30?
I'm turning 30 next month. You are turning 30 in November. So like many people who are approaching their 30s, we're not freaking out, but we are kind of contemplating our lives a little bit, reading about stuff, right?
Yeah. 30, it comes with a lot of pressure, the 30s.
Yeah.
From us and from the outside world.
Yeah, I would say, well, two things, Alexia. First, I heard you say 30 is. 30s. 30s. Very common mistake for Brazilians when they see that IES at the end of words. For example, I studied a lot of Portuguese speakers have the tendency to say studied 30 is, but it's just studied 30s, the E sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else was I going to say? Yes, for some reason, society says that 30s, it's somewhat of a milestone. Do you know that word?
It's like a mark, right?
It's like an important point in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that nowadays, because it used to be a very important date, right? For women and men as well. Like you should get married before the 30s, you should get a kid before the 30s. And nowadays it's a little bit better. But
Yeah, I hope so.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
But what we decided to do is a list about...
Yeah, well, we did not make a list, but because I'm an anxious person, I was reading different lists about things you should do before you're 30, and naturally, I was reading the magazine Entrepreneur, which is something I do when I'm bored, and they had an article. I believe the title of the article was 29 Things to Do Before You Are 30.
Yes.
Which doesn't really make sense. I don't know why I guess 29 because you haven't gotten to 30 yet.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense.
See how... Yes, amor, I'm much smarter than you are.
Okay. Anyway, they had a list of a lot of different things that everyone should do before they turn 30 years old. I thought some of the things in the list were cooler than others. Some were kind of unnecessary.
So we made our list from this list. Things that you wanted to talk about.
Right. We made a new list from their list. We made our own list, and we're going to talk about it this week on the show.
Yes. So we are starting with...
So one of the really interesting recommendations that I thought that they provided in the magazine, because this is a business magazine, I was kind of looking for like, before you're 30, make $1 million. And they said, before you're 30, find your BFF. Do you know what BFF is?
Best friend forever.
Your best friend forever. So, Alexia, have you found your BFF?
Yes.
What's her name?
What's her name? We already know. Why do you think it's a girl?
I don't know. Who's your BFF? Tell me.
You are.
So that was not me fishing for compliments, which is a fantastic phrase. Do you know that?
Fishing for compliments, yeah.
What does that mean?
Buscando, tipo, tentando.
Yeah, I'm looking for you to say nice things about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had find your BFF, and then another piece of advice on the list, another recommendation was to share or rent a house with friends.
You can talk about that much more because I've never done that.
You've never done it?
No.
Well, shit, you have less than a month.
I'm sorry.
A little bit more than a month.
I'm sharing an apartment with you and my dad. I think that's amazing right now. I don't need more.
I think that counts.
Yeah.
So I thought this was interesting that they placed a lot of importance on friendships because it's not really something you think about that often, you know?
What do you mean?
Like the things you have to do.
Yeah.
Rent a house with your friends, not something I would consider a necessity. But the more I was thinking about it, I've done this a lot. I've shared a lot of houses with different people. I think it's much more common in the US than Brazil. I'm not sure. But those were wonderful times in my life.
But I'm thinking about the pros and cons of this situation because, for example, of course, you are my best friend and my boyfriend and my business partner. So that's fine. Let's take you out of this list.
Okay.
And let's put my two best friends, Marina and Bruna. Hello, girls. I think that I would kill Bruna, but it would be fine. And I think
the murder of Bruna would be fine.
But I think
how to get away with the murder with Alexia.
And with Marina, I always thought about it. I think it would be just like it would be a natural thing to do because Marina, I know her since I've known her.
There we go.
Since I was 5 years old, so it was already like, oh, when we are turning 18 years old, we are gonna move together and move in together. And this never happened.
You never lived with her, never shared an apartment.
Nothing.
Yeah. So I think you really missed an opportunity there.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of that our friendship is still alive. I have no idea.
Yeah.
How was it for you to share with your best friends?
I've done it a lot. So in university, I lived with people in what we call dorms, dormitories. Mm-hmm. So I've lived with a lot of different people. After I graduated college, I moved into an apartment with a bunch of my friends in New York. I've lived in the middle of Tennessee with a bunch of my friends. So let's say pros and cons. Pros, you're with your friends. You have a lot of experiences together. You get really close with them. You really form a stronger connection and relationship. And it's just cool if you're coming home from work and you get home and your friends are there and you can watch TV, hang out, drink a beer or something. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But for you that has a brother, what's the difference there? Because having a brother living with you, is it very different than having your friends living with you?
Of course. Yeah, I love my brother. My bro's my friend. But at the same time, living with family is always different. You know, family's family. Friends are a type of family, but it's kind of like it doesn't come with that sense of responsibility, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I've never done it because of a lack of opportunity. If I had the opportunity, I'm pretty sure that I would have done it. The only time that I shared a dorm, it was when I spent a month in England with... When I spent a month in England with 4 or 5 other girls. And from this dorm, I met one of my best friends, which is Marcela. And our relationship is here. And nothing changed.
Yeah. So you have had that experience in a small way, but I think that's why this is such an important experience, is because if you are living with another person, if you're living or sharing a space with friends, you're going to learn a lot about yourself and about the other people. So I agree with the list. I think it's an important thing to do before you're 30. Alexia, time is running out. You got your BFF?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine right now.
Okay, so we will give you a pass on that and say BFF, check. Lived or shared a house with friends, check. Tomorrow we will come at you with some more things that we want to do or have already done before we turn 30 very soon.
Yeah, so see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys later.